So Canon's latest full-frame camera for the year, the Canon EOS RP, has finally released its much-anticipated firmware update, version 1.4. And a lot of people have been waiting for that update to come along, which I think came out about a week ago in Singapore. I believe they are launching the firmware updates at separate timings around the world. But two key features that the Canon firmware update on the EOS R and the EOS RP takes care of is improving the face and eye detection on the EOS RP, which I've been using this camera for about 3 to 4 months right now, and I must say there are a lot of autofocusing issues on this camera, especially when you go into autofocus continuous. Even compared to my old Canon 200D, which was launched in 2017, I've been using that for about a year. As compared to the Canon EOS RP, I found that the 200D's autofocusing system was better than the EOS RP. So this firmware update will also include something which they left out of the camera, which a lot of people were unhappy about, was being able to film your videos at 24 frames per second. So right now I've already updated the camera and it does have the 4K 24 frames per second as well as the 1080p 24 frames per second. So we're gonna test it out. And another camera that was launched just maybe about 7 days ago. I've been eyeing this camera for a while now, and I was watching one of my favorite YouTube channel called Camera Conspiracies, and he was actually raving about Fujifilm's camera. So I went ahead and buy this entry-level camera. It's called the Fujifilm X-A7. So this is, like I said, an entry-level APS-C camera. Basically, in terms of design and build quality, is really terrible. It's all plasticky and stuff. It is really cheap, only costing about $1,000. And you gotta check out the LCD screen on this camera. It's huge, absolutely massive. Even if you were to compare this to the EOS RP, you can see the screen size between these two cameras. And the EOS RP, being a full-frame camera, although it's the cheapest full-frame camera in the market, cost me about 3,000 Singapore dollars. And this Fujifilm X-A7 only costed me, with the kit lens, about $1,000. So I have been using this for about 3 to 4 days right now, and I'm pretty impressed with the whole package. Although it's just using a kit lens and stuff, but the autofocusing, the picture clarity, everything is really, really great. So I just want to compare these two cameras today because me and Ruben, I have my cousin Ruben here who doesn't own any cameras, but he will be a really, really great test bait for testing out these two cameras and see which one he prefers for a new user on mirrorless camera. So enough of talking, we're gonna get Ruben, my cousin. We've done a few videos before. So you've never really owned a camera in your life?
Of course I have, but it's always just the normal point and shoot, budget around $300 to $400, you know, the normal Canons, Nikons.
Okay, so we have these two cameras. One is a full frame camera, which, like I said, is really, really well built. You can check it out if you want to. And then this is obviously more expensive, higher end specs. And then this is really, really toy and plasticky. So we're gonna have Ruben take some photographs between these two cameras, and then we're gonna show it on the screen, and then you will compare between a Canon full frame camera, the picture quality, against the Fujifilm X-A7 in terms of photos, and we're gonna shoot it in JPEG plus RAW, and then I'll do some editing on the photographs.
Yeah.
And
maybe one good thing to note is, since I'm the one taking the photos, and I know almost nothing about photography. So for people out there who actually would like to see the comparison between something that would cost you your month's salary against something that a normal user like myself would actually be well off using, considering the quality of the images we get. The priority for me would be, of course, how user-friendly it is, the screen behind, and of course, since both are touchscreen, so the responsiveness of the screen itself. Do I really need to press it, or can I just tap it?
Okay, and one thing that we won't be comparing, which is the obvious, which is the build quality and the weather sealing. So you can see that the X-A7 is really plasticky and stuff. There's no weather sealing.
It's like comparing your dad's Mercedes to your uncle's Toyota.
Yeah, same thing. Yeah. So yeah, I'm just going to test it out. So let's go. Okay, so Ruben is getting ready to start off with some shots on his Canon EOS RP, starting off the RP. So we're just going to take some photographs, maybe of landscape, and then you're going to take some portrait photographs of me and see how the color is. One thing about the Canon I noticed is that the color science seems to have gotten worse as compared to the Canon 200D, but I don't know, maybe you can test it out. So Ruben's going to start. We're going to take the landscape first or what?
Before we start, first things off,
So just take some photographs.
Autofocus is on. Stabilization is on. Automatic.
Okay, we're in automatic intelligent mode.
That's all.
Okay.
So I'm literally going to point and shoot.
Okay, and see how good compared to the Fujifilm X-A7.
Since we are here and the sun is here.
You get some backlit shots.
No. Okay. From where I'm holding it now, I can hardly see anything.
Okay, the sun is behind me in this direction.
Okay, so now let's try the screen with the sun to the side.
All I can see is your face.
Yeah. Again, nothing.
So it's really dark. Maybe you can adjust some settings later on to make it a little bit brighter. So it's gonna start off with some landscape shots.
So, for ease of comparison, I will be making that white building the center of the photo.
Okay, and it's using a kit lens, so that's 24mm focal length.
And now we'll be doing a portrait shot with Charles.
Backlit, okay, we're gonna try the backlit. The sun is here, I'm gonna turn around.
Alright.
Okay, so right now Ruben is in what do you call that? Burst mode, whereby we'll be trying to see how good burst continuous mode, whereby I'll be walking towards him and he will just be pressing the shutter and see how good the autofocusing is on the firmware 1.4. Okay.
Once you pass this leaf, it doesn't refocus. So by the time you reach close to me, your face is already a bit blurry. It doesn't refocus as each image is being shot.
Okay, that's strange. So right now we are on the Fujifilm X-A7. So we did a few stuff on the Canon, including burst mode, which I think shoots at about 11 frames per second max. So for this one,
continuous, non-stop. Over here, 700 bucks. What do you expect? You get maximum of 6 per second. And I don't know if it's got to do with the software inside or the hardware or whether it's the memory card that Charles has fitted to it, but it's only 4 shots, nice. And then the last 2, you got like a bit of a delay fuse, probably because the
is writing to the memory,
processing and writing and putting it in, so you get like
I think maybe the processor. Maybe we don't shoot in RAW, we just shoot JPEGs, maybe because of the RAW function, that's why it's being delayed. Can you switch off the RAW? Yeah, so we just switched it to fine. We turn off fine plus RAW because that seems to be really slow.
Yeah.
So maybe if we turn off the RAW, the processing will be much faster.
So just as before on the Canon, nothing fancy. You don't, what you see is what you get. Aperture and the screen. Look at the size of that screen.
It's a lot brighter. It looks a lot brighter as well.
Brighter. The color here is so nice and natural. And
we are facing the sun.
Facing the sun. The sun is at the back of us. And you can still see how clear it is.
Yeah, in terms of the screen resolution under lighting, really bright lighting conditions.
Nice, vivid, and just as before, very responsive, very nice. No effort required. So let's do this.
Okay, so we're gonna do the burst shot first,
So
and then
now we've only got 6 shots maximum, so you got a dash.
okay, can. we got that done.
Oh, and surprisingly, what you get is the first 1 second, you get a straight up 6. And then after that, you get 1 every second.
Can you try that out again?
Case in point, let me show you.
Okay.
Okay, here we go.
You just point it
Same
somewhere.
as before, just a random shot. Okay, ready? And here we go.
Yeah, it's a bit strange.
Yep.
Okay. Anyway. Okay, so out of the blue, I just pulled out my Sony because Sonys are known to have the best autofocusing systems in the world. So I got my Sony A6500 with the kit lens, and I think it's about 9 frames per second for the burst shot. So Ruben's gonna test it out now and see how it goes. So, what is your experience on the Sony's burst?
Okay, you know how when you want to take a shot and then there's face detection, you get a box on your nose or your face or the
eye
eyes
detection,
or whatever
yeah.
it is, right? Okay, on the Canon and on the Fujifilm, only when he came to about halfway, then you start to see that little box on Charles' face. But for this little guy here, from the time he started walking up to the time where I stopped shooting, the box was on his head all the way, and it's like a machine gun.
Okay, let's hear it. Let's hear it.
Oh god, no!
No battery, yeah.
Okay, battery.
Is it in burst?
Battery exhausted.
Ah, damn it. Oh shit, okay. So right now we come to video mode, and we're going to start off with the Canon EOS RP, shooting at 1080p 60 frames per second. So Ruben, one thing that I did notice on this camera is that its 1080p is superior to its 4K. Its 4K firstly doesn't have stabilization, that's number one, and number two is that it's really cropped in. So even if it's a full frame when you shoot in 4K, that 24mm focal length, you need to multiply it by 1.6.
So what you're trying to say is, as compared to the Fujifilm,
which is already a crop sensor.
It's already cropped, but for this fella here,
if you are in 4K,
it's full frame. But when you switch to 4K, from full frame it becomes cut down. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, on the Fujifilm, the X-A7, just to let you know, 4K is not cropped, so that's pretty cool.
Why
it's
is
not
that?
cropped?
Is it a? Do you think?
Because it's already cropped. So.
I mean, for the Canon, is it likely to be a software issue or firmware thing, or because it doesn't make sense if it's already a full frame, but when you change the settings, you reduce it and you crop it down
just to get a clearer image, basically. I think they
or maybe Canon wants you to buy more of their cameras.
More wide angle lenses. Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna test it out in automatic mode, and Ruben, I'll just be walking around because the sun is still up behind me, so we're gonna do some backlit and front lit and side lit, whatever lit.
So for the anyway, this video is gonna be lit. So
okay, so
we're gonna start out with
1080p 60
video, backlit, and Charles will just do a walk around, so you will see how the video transitions from a backlit to a front lit, so you can judge for yourself.
Okay. Alright, so we're recording now. Canon EOS RP 1080p 60 frames per second backlit. You need to talk because the microphone is facing you.
Oh, I hope this big ding dong in front of me isn't too loud. Okay, Charles is actually very far now. Oh, I lost the box. It's not on your face. Oh, okay, I got you.
Is there eye detection?
Only now.
There's
face
eye,
detection.
Face, okay, no eye, right?
Okay, now eye, now face.
Now
it keeps jumping.
Is that eye?
Yeah, now it's eye. And now it is face. And now it is still face.
So it doesn't detect the sunglasses?
No. Okay, take it. Okay, now it's eye. Now it's face.
So with this, maybe you just walk behind me so that you do the stabilization. Okay,
bear in mind, I'm holding the camera in my hands, not using a gimbal.
So right now we come to the shaded variable.
Okay, here we are in the shade. Okay, it's still jumpy between your eye and your face.
Only close up.
Close up, it's your eye lah.
Like arm's length away.
Yeah, I would say.
So what do you think of that 1080p 60 with the face detect and the new firmware update?
Well, I can't tell you much about the update and.
I mean, basically their update
basically-
improved supposedly the eye detection and the face
Basically,
detection.
what I see here, we don't know how the end result will be once you put it into your Mac or whatever PC you're running. What I see here is it's very jumpy. It's not very stable. 1 minute it's not there. 1 minute it gets the face detection spot on. Then 1 minute it jumps to the eye, and every time it changes. From the time it's gone, the image changes a bit. Then when it captures his face, it changes a bit again. Then when it captures his eye, it changes a bit again. So I don't know how that affects the video. Whether
Maybe you'll be focusing in and out.
yeah, but everything will change because it's on auto intelligence. So I assume every time it focuses on a certain point, it will automatically adjust accordingly, lighting and blah blah blah. So I don't know if that will make your end video
Them jumpy. Okay, so right now we're gonna go to 4K 24 frames per second because that's the key feature that a lot of people were grumbling about that was missing. So we're gonna test it out right now. Now we're gonna go to 4K 24 frames per second.
Yep, half your body. Because now the sun is going down. Okay, now this is backlit. Lighting looks good. Eye detection is good, but still, it jumps from eye to face to eye to face. Yep, just as before, I am literally holding this in my hands, no gimbals. Okay, now the only stabilization you get, like what Charles said, is from the lens, not from the camera itself. Okay, so now still same as before, it jumps from face detection to eye detection, but not as jumpy. Yeah, it seems like maybe it's a way to make people buy more cameras. Now there's nothing. Nothing. Okay, I got your eye. Okay, finally.
Am I too close?
No, still okay. Still, I got your eye. Eye.
How is it fast? Autofocus continuous?
It's okay. I would say it's okay. Not as fantastic as the Sony, that's for sure.
Okay, so right now Ruben is on the Fujifilm X-A7 and we're shooting at 1080p 60 frames per second in aperture priority mode and with autofocus continuous. So yep, he's gonna test it out now.
Okay.
How's it?
Face detection. Okay,
Is it
got.
fast? Is it fast?
Yeah, fast.
Walk back late.
Still on. Okay, face detection gone. Okay, got you again. And it's good. Even though it's backlit.
And even is there eye detection?
Yeah.
Eye detection with my glasses on.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
There's a green box which covers your whole head, and then in the green box there's a small.
Okay, so Ruben is pretty excited about something. So what were you saying?
Yeah. One of the nice things about the Fuji is, unlike the Canon and unlike the Sony, you get both features in the same screen. You get to see a green box around my face. So that's probably the head or facial detection. Within that box, there's a smaller grey box which follows my eyes.
Eye detection, yeah.
Yeah. And one of the nice things that I noticed before the first battery died was when the sun was actually behind Charles. And the minute that green and grey box caught Charles, it automatically compensated for everything, and Charles went from being a black shadow with the sun behind him to a fully clear image of him.
On the dynamic range.
Dynamic, very nice. I find as an idiot like me holding this kind of camera, I think that's a fantastic feature. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I don't really see. I see you very black here. To me. Okay. So right now we're gonna test out the stabilization. I lost you. Suddenly it just went totally out of focus for no reason. Struggling a bit, I don't know why. Strange. Let's stop. Wow, that was slow. That was really slow, I don't know why.
What, the focusing?
Yeah, so strange. Okay. Eye detection is good. Very, very fast. Let's turn it out and come back to him again. Okay, now we're going to test out the stabilization. You just walk. Handheld stabilization over this rocky ground. Not really rocky, so uneven ground. And also testing out the audio because I'm not using a mic. So I'm using the microphone built into this Fujifilm X-A7. On the EOS RP, I was using a mic. Okay, so right now we're going to do the autofocus test. So you just walk towards me. Okay, so we're doing an autofocus test. Okay, walk back. Okay, walk forward. Stop. You walk to your right. Some more. Some more. You come back in. It picks you up really fast.
Not as fast as the Sony.
It is pretty, I think it's, I don't know, to me it's very, very fast. It's like faster than the EOS.
I mean, if you want to compare price, like I said, it's like comparing your dad's Mercedes to your uncle's Toyota, you know?
Okay, so I guess we got a good idea. Right now we're shifting to the last test, which is 4K 24.
Backlit. Sun is behind him. There. I hope you can see that, how it compensates, okay?
Should I walk?
Yeah. Okay. With direct light, the autofocusing is much faster.
Actually, these kind of lighting conditions
It's perfect. Yeah. Okay. So now, again, back to the sun behind Charles. Okay.
Is it still on? You see how fast that he picks up my face? I go out of the shot.
Okay. Very fast. Almost the minute you pop into the frame, it catches you again. Yeah.
Very fast, right?
Yeah, very fast. But the focusing is not fast.
Now we are backlit again.
Okay.
Is that strange?
No.
Okay, we're gonna do the stabilization.
Okay. Okay, one thing I noticed about this, even though the eye and facial recognition captures Charles, the auto-focusing takes a bit of time. It's not instant.
Not instant like the Sony.
Nope, like the Sony.
That's why I didn't want to compare the Sony because it's...
Heaven and earth.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the Sonys will make both of them look bad. And I'm not a Sony supporter. I've got every single camera in my bag from Panasonic to Fujifilm to Canon to EM1. I got 2 Canon cameras, but yeah, and a Sony. But I do admit that the Sonys have the best. So have we done the last test, which is you standing there, I walk towards you, is it?
Yep.
Or the other direction, right?
Nothing. Okay. Yep. Just as I mentioned, it takes a bit of time, not for the face and eye detection to capture Charles, but it takes time for the focusing. Maybe it's a lens issue.
Is it detecting me?
Yeah. Yeah. The face and eye detection is good, but the focusing is slow. Yeah.
We need a better lens. Okay, so yeah, I think that's about it. Should be a good enough test
For today.
yeah,
Alright.
especially when Okay, so that's about it, guys. This is a test between the Canon EOS RP with the new firmware update 1.4 against my latest camera, or Fuji's latest entry-level camera, mirrorless camera, the Fujifilm X-A7. So overall, what do you think on this budget camera against the budget full-frame camera?
Honest opinion, considering that this costs almost $1,000, if I'm gonna spend $1,000 on something like this with the features that this has, I'd be better off spending a little bit more money and getting something better.
Better than X-A7.
Better than this. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I think I know what you're getting at. Get a Sony basically.
Not necessarily.
Yeah, but like I said, I'm not a Sony supporter. I'm using I got 2 Canon cameras. I got this first Fujifilm. I got the Panasonics and EM1
and a ton of GoPros.
Yeah, a ton of GoPros and stuff. So, but honestly, the Sony's autofocusing system is really, really crazy.
It's too good. It's too good that it even makes the Canon and the Fujifilm look bad.
Yeah, exactly. So, and you can probably get a Sony camera right now, the A60-100 coming in about $1,000 as well.
Yep. So, like I said, for a normal human being like me, if I was gonna spend this kind of money on this kind of camera, I'd rather spend a little bit more and get something a little bit better build quality, better features.
Alright, so tell us what you think and we'll see you in the next video, guys.
Yep, don't forget, as usual, hit the red button down below, hit the alarm so you get all the alerts whenever he posts new videos. Check it out.
And peace!